Well, hello, and welcome back to the Chamber Vibes podcast. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Let me just give you a rundown of what's going on. So, I'm your host, Foster Garrett, Director of Marketing and Events for the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. And if you don't know what a chamber is, that's totally fine. We are a nonprofit membership organization that strives to help the Bedford area prosper by serving, convening, and collaborating with local businesses, organizations, and people. And every week, I have the pleasure of interviewing a different chamber member to find out what they do and why they do it. And it's recorded right here in beautiful Bedford, Virginia, and brought to you by Media Squatch Plus. If you don't have the Media Squatch Plus app, this is your time to download it. There are around 20 other local podcasts recorded right here, and you can learn about everything from agriculture to the D-Day Memorial and beyond. But yeah, this podcast, I hope you like it. It is a great way to get tuned in to your community. I always come in thinking that I know a little bit about what we're going to talk about, but I always leave having learned so much more. And it's given me everything from new people to connect with, to resources and services if I ever need them, to fun things to do and hidden gems to talk about to other people. And we wouldn't be able to do this podcast without the support of our sponsor, Gary Evans with Cornerstone Operations. Without people like Gary, we really wouldn't be able to do things like this. And it is an awesome way to just get tuned in to all the cool things that make the Bedford area what it is. So if you like this podcast, which I hope you will, go back and listen to all the episodes before. We have lots of different stories to share with you and lots of different people to interview. So we record every week. So keep an eye out for a new conversation every single week. And it's recorded not only on Media Squatch Plus, but you can also find it on Spotify, Apple Music, all the podcast things. Before we get to the actual podcast, though, I do want to tell you about some of the things we have going on at the Chamber. We actually just got done with our penultimate event of the year. We had our Smart Networking grant writing session yesterday with around 30 different nonprofit leaders and school teachers and volunteers, and it was awesome. I'm so grateful to Joanne Miller and Emily Joseph for coming back to lead this workshop again this year. It was a little bit different from last year, more of a part 2, but also everybody that was new still benefited. So if you have any topics for next year, whether it be a workshop or a business roundtable or something that you just want to learn about, let us know. This is the perfect time to get that information to us because we are starting to lock things in for 2026. And our smart networking sessions are a great way for us to come together as peers and colleagues to help each other, learn from each other, and grow together as an area. So that is all done. Our largest event of the year, well, one of the largest events that we do, is coming up the second week of December. It's our Career and Technical Education Expo, better known as the CTE Expo. We do this in partnership with Bedford County Public Schools, and we've done it. Our chamber has done it in partnership with BCPS since 2017. During COVID, took a break, came back and tried it again in 2023, and did it in 2023 and 2024 at Susie G. Gibson Science and Technology Center. Well, this year we're doing it at all 3 high schools over 3 days. So it's gotten a little bit bigger. Our hope is to show 8th graders all of the different classes and career pathways that are available to them right here at their school and in the Bedford area. And so they can come back in January and they can pick their 9th grade courses with a little bit of what they're interested in and knowing what's available to them in mind. So if your business would like to participate, all we ask is that you come, you set up a table, you have something hands-on for the kids to do. It's only from 9:30 to 12 each day, so it's only 2.5 hour commitment, and we would love for you to help us educate and inspire the next generation. If you're interested in that, or learning about any of our other upcoming events, you can give us a call. I'll drop our phone number at the very end. We also have a full calendar on bedfordareachamber.com, our website, that has the CT Expo as well as some ribbon cuttings that are coming up. So that's enough for me. If you're interested in any of that, give us a ring. We're happy to talk to you more about it. But without further ado, please allow me to introduce today's guest, Noel Woodcock with the Bedford Museum and Genealogical Library.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for joining me today. You guys have a lot going on right now.
We do.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it all. I feel like when it comes to things like the Bedford Museum, we could really have, like, you could have your own podcast about it. Like, there's so much that we could delve into. But let's start simple. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and then about the museum?
Yeah, so I went to Liberty University in 2015 to 2019, got my Bachelor of Science degree in history. I did my internship at the museum,
Nice.
and then they hired me right after the internship. So I've been there 7 years now.
Wow, that's awesome. And what are some of the things that you were doing originally and kind of your role now?
So I started as like a research assistant, and then sort of over the years, sort of kept in that role, did some of the gift shop, the library organization, the newsletter, that kind of thing. And then December of last year, I moved into the museum manager role.
That's awesome. And there's a lot that you're trained to do and a lot that you can do at the museum. Do a little bit of everything still, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you have many hats.
Many hats. That's just the way of a nonprofit, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Bedford Museum.
So it actually was founded in 1933 by the United Daughters of the Confederacy and the Peaks of Otter chapter of the DAR. It was sort of housed in the courthouse and the library over the years, and then the county and city bought the former Masonic Lodge building,
Mm-hmm.
and then they sort of converted that into the museum in 1978.
Wow. It's really cool how things kind of get started with a purpose and wanting to do something, and then people see the value of it even after, 30 years, 20 years, and they want to give it more of a basis to grow and for people to come in and see it. It's cool. I think you probably know a lot about different things in Bedford that have been around for a while, but for the chamber, we've been around since before 1925. That's when the Bedford Board of Trade voted to change our name to the Bedford Chamber of Commerce. But we didn't have a building until the 70s. And before that, we met in different basements of different member businesses in Bedford. And I think it's just cool how things, like, people see the value of things and they want to do it, even if it doesn't have, like, a grand home.
Yeah, I love the museum because you learn something new every day.
Mm-hmm.
With me doing the newsletter and like Facebook posts on our social media, you sort of discover new stories about Bedford.
Yeah, I love seeing the Facebook posts because it'll be like something as simple as a picture of Centertown from like the 50s.
Yeah.
And people start commenting. They're like, I remember when this was there. And it just, I mean, the radical change to the landscape is impactful in general, but then you start to hear people's stories. I think the building, the Masonic Lodge building, is so cool. And you guys did some recent renovations to the exterior, didn't you?
I think it was like in 2023.
Yeah.
The whole outside was repaired. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and the lot itself has a rich history too.
Mm-hmm.
So the Masonic building was built in 1895, and surprisingly, it was finished in about 8 or 9 months. That
Really?
Building.
That's incredible. That's unheard of.
Yeah, and then before that, it sort of sat vacant for like 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Before the Masons bought it to build the building.
Okay, so the Masons built it in 1895.
Mm-hmm.
But it existed before then?
So it was an empty lot. It was called the Monarch lot.
Okay.
So it was sort of, the previous building had burned down.
Gotcha.
So it was sat vacant from like 1883 to 1895.
That's really interesting. Was that the fire that consumed a lot of businesses and buildings in Bedford?
It was actually a separate fire.
Oh, wow.
So there was the Eagles Tavern on the lot there, and then the Ferguson Hotel, but it was nicknamed Modic for some reason. I haven't been able to find the reason.
Probably something very obscure. That's so interesting, though. I feel like people don't really think about how much Bedford has changed, especially in downtown, because downtown seems so old and rich with history in general. But it's cool to think that there were lots of different people and organizations that came before us, and that if you dig down under the streets, you can still find the cobblestone and everything. Sometimes I see it peeking through.
Yeah, I've always been interested too how like bigger events are connected to Bedford,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd be surprised the different connections.
Can you give me an example?
One of my Facebook posts, there's actually a connection to the Titanic.
Oh, really?
There was actually a Jewish merchant that was friends of a some kind of manager,
Mm-hmm.
and he was on the first class sort of passenger list of the Titanic and actually died when it sunk.
Wow. That is really interesting.
But they were apparently best friends.
That is really cool. That's sad. But it's very interesting to see all the different connections. What are some... I feel like we have a lot to talk about with the museum itself, but I kind of want to pick your brain for history. Is there anything that you want to share? Anything that comes to mind is very interesting about Bedford?
I think the Elks Home is interesting with the different sort of residents that live there. Thomas Sidonia, once known as the most tattooed man in the world.
Oh, that's cool.
And things like that. He was a mural painter.
Mm-hmm.
He did some murals in Coleman's restaurant, which isn't standing anymore. But that was sort of destroyed because it was actually painted on the wall itself.
Oh, really?
So just sort of things like that you come across.
Yeah, that's really cool. I feel like when people think of the Elks Home too, they think of the Bedford Boys. And I feel like that's the obvious history behind it. There's a lot of different things. When institutions have been around as long as they have, they start to collect different figures and pieces of history inside them. For the museum, let's shift back a little bit. You have some things that are always on display, but you also have rotating exhibits. Do you want to talk about some of the things that people can find if they come?
So we have the first floor is our genealogical library on the first 2 rooms. And then the second floor has our World War I exhibit, World War II, Black history, Native American. Then we have a rotating exhibit in the second floor hallway, which has the Vietnam War exhibit right now, which sort of coincides with the memorial that's happening this weekend.
Do you want to talk about the memorial?
So the memorial is for the 14 men who died in the Vietnam War. The memorial will be in front of the courthouse, and the ceremony is at 11 a.m. on Saturday.
That's awesome. I've seen kind of the slow progress of people first getting funding and then getting the word out about it, and then the monument itself going up with the drapes over it. And it's been like 2 weeks of people driving by and asking, what is it? What is it? We've gotten a couple calls about it. And that's super exciting. Is there anything in particular that you want people to know about the commemoration?
It starts at 11 a.m. Leslie Mahaffey and the committee for the memorials work really hard. So if you can show up and support them and honor the fallen men, then that'd be great.
That'd be awesome. Okay. And you have an exhibit coming up soon for the train model as well.
Yeah, that starts Black Friday and runs through January 10th. So it's a big model train layout, takes up the whole middle of our 3rd floor. It has 2 tracks with an O-gauge train and sort of depicts like the downtown Bedford, the sort of key buildings, the courthouse, municipal building, the admin building, and it also sort of has replica buildings of all our train sponsors as well.
That's awesome. And this has been around for a very long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's our 23rd year.
Wow. I remember going to the museum to see the trains with my cousins who were visiting over Christmas with my grandma. And my cousins are all boys, so they were already very obsessed with trains. Yeah. And I just remember the look on their faces when they came onto the 3rd floor and they saw how large it was. And I would love to go back there with them as adults, because I still feel like they would be obsessed with it.
Yeah, it was started by like a train group, and they would put it up. But now we all put up the train layout, volunteers and employees at the museum.
Nice. That's fun, but it's a labor of love.
It is. You turn on some Christmas music and it becomes enjoyable too.
It gets you into the spirit. That's awesome. And you mentioned the model of downtown Bedford and the buildings that represent the different sponsors. Who makes those buildings?
So we have 14 train sponsors this year, Media Squatch included. And in years past, our former director has known a person to make the buildings. But this year we actually had Liberty High School's shop and art classes sort of partner up, and they made all the new buildings.
That is so cool.
They did really good. Yeah.
I'm always so impressed by the work of our local technical students, because sometimes you don't really know what'll come out of it. but I actually went and toured the LHS shop. I went to Liberty, but I was an art kid, so I would have been painting the buildings, but I wouldn't be making them. But I had the opportunity to go tour their shop building recently, and they were building like miniature furniture, and like it was really expertly crafted and really nice. So I'm really excited to see the trains, and imagine being a sponsor and coming and seeing the model train exhibit and seeing your building exactly replicated. That is so cool.
Yeah, and we'll be highlighting the Liberty High School students that did it on our Facebook and Instagram pages as well.
Nice.
So you can see the buildings and the detail and work they put into it.
That is so cool. That's a great project. Because not only do you guys benefit from it, but they get some cool experience from it too.
Yeah.
And they can go with their families and be like, look what we did. I got to help with the, I feel like it's so valuable to partner with schools for things, even small things, because you don't know the impact that it might have on them with their skills, but also like as a memory. I had the opportunity to help a little bit with the love sign that's at the Welcome Center. And every time I pass it by, I'm like, that's so cool. Like,
yeah, we had the Welcome Center on the layout too.
Oh, really?
And a former employee of ours, his sister, she paints, and she actually replicated that love sign.
Really? That is so cool. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm definitely have to go see the train, the model train this year. Well, is there anything else? Oh, we've talked a lot about the museum. We haven't really talked about the library side.
So we have 2 libraries. It's sort of broken up between a research library and sort of a reference library. The reference library has like church history, war history, sort of general Virginia history, colonial history. We have some city directories as well and maps of the area. And then the research library has like binders for Bedford County surnames.
Oh, wow.
So it's sort of like compiled genealogical history people have donated to us over the years. And it's been too big to put in our files. So we sort of house it in binders instead.
That's awesome. That is really cool. And what are some of the things that people come to you wanting information about or wanting research assistance with?
A lot come from out of town, actually.
Oh, really?
They'll travel in and spend a few days sometimes researching. But it's mainly on a lot research like DAR, sort of entry for their Patriot or family land. They want to do research on that as well.
That is really cool. Sometimes we get calls at the chamber. You never know what people are going to ask us about. But people ask, I found out that my ancestor lived in Bedford. And they're buried at this family cemetery somewhere in Thaxton or Big Island or whatever. Can you help me find it? And I'm like, me at the chamber, no. But let me give you the museum's number.
Yeah, we actually have recorded about 1,500 known cemeteries in the county.
Wow.
And that's known. There's probably some they couldn't find in the 90s when they did the survey as well.
That's crazy. I feel like there's such a wealth of knowledge about Bedford, obviously housed at the museum and library.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that a lot of out-of-town people are the ones that utilize your resources, because us that maybe live here or families have lived here for a while, we kind of don't think about it.
Yeah, we have like a sort of a logbook of where they can sign when they come in, and it's interesting to see the different places they've come from.
Yeah.
Some out of country.
Oh, that's cool.
We've had UK, Australia, Spain, even.
That's awesome. When I was actually at the Welcome Center the other day, and a couple was visiting from Hungary, and I was like, "How did you guys end up here?" But you never know. It's really cool, just the different people that come through and enjoy our small town and our rural community. But it's awesome. Well, Noel, I feel like we've talked about all the things. Is there anything else that you want to share about the Bedford Museum and Genealogical Library?
Just as sort of it's a hidden gem.
It is.
A lot of people that we've heard of come in and they've lived here all their lives but never come in the front doors.
Oh, really?
So it's sort of hidden and not really known about. But then when they come in, they love the exhibits and everything.
Absolutely. I feel like I hear that frequently on this podcast, even from people like Poplar Forest or D-Day. like you talk about it and it's part of Bedford and you know maybe a little bit about it, but you've maybe never taken the time to go check it out for yourself. Don't take it for granted, everybody. Go check it out. And is there an entry fee to come see the museum?
So it's $5 admission for adults, and then kids are free.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that at all.
And it's the same with the train season.
Nice.
And you can get a train pass, too, for those kids that want to return several times.
Nice.
And that's $10.
Oh, that's awesome. That's perfect. And if people want any help with research, what is kind of the cost for that?
So it's $35 for the first 2 hours of research. That includes searching through our library as well as going to the courthouse. Nice.
I mean, seriously, you guys need to up your prices. I didn't say that. No, you guys didn't hear me say that. But seriously, though, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of stewardship and it's valuable.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do so?
So you can email me. It's bmgldirector@bedfordvamuseum.org. Or our phone number is 540-586-4520.
Awesome.
Or you can follow our Facebook and Instagram pages as well.
Definitely follow their social media because you're going to learn all sorts of cool stuff. I love seeing your posts. It's always so interesting.
Yeah, I like finding something new and posting it every week.
Getting excited about it. Yeah. Well, Noel, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been awesome. All right. Well, that's all for today, everybody. If you want to learn more about us at the Chamber, you can call us at 540-586-9401, or you can visit our website, bedfordareachamber.com, for information about our mission and the perks of becoming a member. But also on our website is a full directory of our membership, which is helpful for finding all sorts of amazing things in the region, including the Bedford Museum and Genealogical Library. But that's all for today. Thanks so much for listening. Keep an ear out for the next Chamber Vibes episode.